Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, my hand got a little bit distracted. Usually I do the finger swipe there, and then I do this when I'm about to introduce myself, so we're just changing it up with the introduction today, because why not? It is what it is. I'm your host, The Report of the Week. Thank you nonetheless for tuning in, for checking in. May as well switch it up, because McDonald's certainly is, right? McDonald's, we know that they're a place that it's not like they're constantly releasing new items or anything. You know that they don't switch things up at all, but this time they are, so I guess I'm just going along with it, because you really know that I am the epitome of the go with the flow type of attitude. McDonald's is switching everything up, though. They have a new burger edition, and this one looks pretty promising, I'll say that. I took a look at this, and obviously, you know how it is when it comes down to many of the items that I try out here in these reviews. Some items look really promising. They look like they have a lot of potential. They look like they could be quite good. And then what actually happens? They're horrible. And other times you get these items that look like they really should be disgusting. And sometimes they actually just are. But other times the looks can be deceiving, and they wind up being quite good. So when it comes down to a lot of these items, from any place really, you can't judge a book by its cover. But nonetheless, I will say, because I guess I am judging a book by its cover anyway, that this item does look promising. McDonald's is adding a new burger to their Quarter Pounder lineup. This specifically, it's available for a limited time, and it is called the Smoky BLT Quarter Pounder with cheese. With cheese. If you get it without cheese, you know what happens? They make you wear a bow tie. Which may or may not be a bad thing depending on your sartorial preferences. But nonetheless, you've been warned, now you know the repercussions. I'll just say this, it's advisable that you get this with cheese. Because McDonald's, they don't play around. On it is a quarter-pound beef patty, American cheese, bacon, tomato, lettuce, and a smoky sauce. So that's where the smoky in the name comes from. The sauce is supposed to have some smoky notes. And again, bacon, lettuce, tomato, some cheese with that quarter-pound of beef. Price for the sandwich. It is a pricier sandwich, I will say that, so just get ready. $8 just for the sandwich by itself. So not a meal, not including a drink or fries or any of that. If you just want the sandwich by itself, the price is $8. So just take that into account. But they'll say, well, it's a quarter pounder, so you're going to be getting a good amount of meat, and it is a limited time specialty sandwich. So, they'll say that as justification to say that's why we're charging what we're charging for this. It's up to you whether you buy that or not. Plus, and this I think makes it all worth it, look at that. They've got a special box, and it says quarter pounder with cheese. When I look at this, it reminds me of Jupiter. It's like you're looking at one of the gas planets, and these are just the different layers and the different bands of clouds and gases in its atmosphere. That's the impression that I get. Let's open it up and let's take a look. There's the bun. And I shall pull the sandwich out now. Let's get a closer look. All right, let's see. To give credit where credit is due, it's actually a pretty photogenic burger, I'll say. I think it looks good. I'll give them credit. A lot of the time when you see items right, you see this a lot online, the expectations, right, what's portrayed in the ad versus what you get in reality, it's like night and day. But this, on the other hand, actually looks pretty appealing. You could see the quarter pound patty right there. You can see the tomato looks fresh, colorful, vibrant. The lettuce, the cheese, those bacon strips kind of lurking there on the other side. And then see the white stuff at the bottom? Right, that's the sauce. That's the smoky sauce. Right there. We shall debun it. Not too much to see. There's the top bun. Just some lettuce, the shredded variety. And then you could see it actually, I don't know how well you could see it. Now you can. Ooh, we have, how many tomatoes are there? My goodness. We have a mountain of tomatoes. Looks like we have ourselves 3 tomatoes. I thought there would just be 1, but 3. That is insane. That is absolute insanity. Good amount of bacon strips, too. And I just say this, you know, I am a little bit impressed by the presentation of the burger, because these days I'm just so used to getting items that look like someone sat on it and just someone, you know, slapped some stuff together. So to actually get an item, now this could taste absolutely horrible, and if it does, I'll just be straight up about it and I shall say, it looks good, but it tastes bad. But it is nice for a change to get an item that actually resembles what it looks like in the ad. It's surprisingly refreshing, because seldom do you see that these days. So to give credit where credit is due, McDonald's, you did good with the presentation and it looks like a good burger. Now, the important part, does it taste good? Let's find out. The McDonald's Smoky BLT Quarter Pounder with cheese. Going in. So you know the phrase, probably heard it before, you learn something new every day, right? Now, one could agree or disagree with that, but it is a pretty common saying, right? The other day, I was doing a little organizational work, you know, just a little cleaning here and there, getting some stuff organized. And I found this bottle right here. And I was looking at it, I was trying to figure out what the heck is this, you know? I thought, I don't know, I thought that you're supposed to drink this. Maybe I thought like it's a shot or something, where you add it to your coffee and, you know, give yourself a little kick or a little bit of flavor or something to that extent. But I read about this and they call this as you could see right here, they call it Kalagna. And apparently you slather it on yourself in limited amounts, and it's supposed to emanate a pleasant scent. So it's interesting stuff. This new phenomena, the world of scents and Kalagna, they call it. Now, I know that was really... We're traveling through space and time right now. Let's ground ourselves back into reality. Let's land back here in the reviewing locale, and let's get back to the review. I like the burger. It's good, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Good presentation, and I would say that the flavor matches the presentation. So that's the review right there. If you want to bail out right now, and I don't blame you, there you have it. That's all that you need to know. It's good. So that's if you just want to get the heck out of here. Now you know. Into the more in-depth analysis. As I mentioned, it has a good presentation, and there are a few ingredients. It's not overwhelming. All the ingredients are pretty basic, right? You have the meat, you have the bacon, the lettuce, the tomato, the cheese, and the sauce. Everything on this burger is you could easily discern that it's fresh. That's important because it really shows. Like if you get the lettuce or the tomatoes and they're just kind of, it's not crisp, it's not firm, it's a little chewy, etc. You could tell, and that really detracts from the eating experience. But I'll say this. All right, number one, let's go ingredient by ingredient, because what I should mention right off the bat, everything blends together nicely. It all comes together, right? So that's important. So I want to establish that first, so I don't have to say that over and over. Every ingredient complements each other. So that's good. There's nothing that clashes. There's nothing that seems, this is very jarring, etc. Now, ingredient by ingredient, the beef is good quality. You could see, I think, in the cross-section of it, and even just when I was holding up the burger itself, you could see the thickness of that beef patty. Definitely a good amount, and of course it's a quarter pounder, so there is going to be a decent amount of beef, but that always is nice to see. It's juicy, it's flavorful, and they do have a little bit of like a salt and pepper seasoning on it, which is what they have on all of their beef patties, not just the quarter pounders, but it certainly adds that extra little bit of flavor there, and I always enjoy that. So, quality of the meat is good, it's flavorful, good amount of it as well. So a thumbs up to that. The American cheese, not too much to really say about it. Again, a little salty, but it complements everything. Nothing really to mention there. Bacon. Bacon is enjoyable. I like that they got the texture of it just right, where it's not hard as a rock or anything, nor is it chewy. It has the right amount of firmness, that right amount of just crispness to it, a nice fattiness as well. Like I said, blends in nicely, and they put a good amount of it on the burger. You could pretty much taste it in every bite. Lettuce and tomato I already pretty much covered. They add some nice moisture to the sandwich. They're crisp, flavorful, and fresh most importantly, so that's good. And then what really ties it all together is the smoky sauce. Now, the interesting thing about this is that, the best way to describe the sauce is that it's smoky, and it also has this little kind of tangy sharpness to it as well. But it's not overwhelming. It's not overpowering. It's not like it steals the show, and you bite into it and that's all that you could taste. Not like that at all. But again, it gives a little bit of moisture, but again, that smoky, tangy sharpness that it has to offer is just the note that kind of, it takes what's already a decent burger and then gives it its own unique characteristic. And it's not overwhelming, not overbearing, but it just ties everything together, and that little bit of a note, that sharp note that it has, I think that's just enough that it offsets what might otherwise be a slightly overwhelming salty fattiness that the rest of the sandwich has. So it offsets those notes, it balances everything out, and I will say that this is a pretty good burger. McDonald's, they can be hit or miss sometimes. They certainly have those good items, they certainly have those bad items. For instance, I tried out the McRib in the last McDonald's review that I did, and I hated it. It was not enjoyable at all. They've redeemed themselves with this burger. It's a bit pricey, though, I'll say that. $8, that's more than I think most of us would prefer to pay for it, but it's simply the nature of the situation. I do find it overpriced, but that's just how it is. At least I will say, it's a good burger, tastes good, good quality, really haven't any complaints about it at all. So taking that into account, this rating might seem a little high, but just bear in mind, I really haven't any complaints about it, and I think it is a good item. So out of 10, I'm going to be giving the Smoky BLT Quarter Pounder with cheese from McDonald's a 9 out of 10. Good quality, good item all around, slightly overpriced, but I found it enjoyable, and I'd get it again. On one final note, if you want to support what I do, if you want to support this channel, my radio show, my podcast, if you want to access exclusive content as well, check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/TheReportOfTheWeek. Find out more information in the pinned comment and in the description as well. I found out that some of the radio airtime costs are going to be going up in 2023 just due to the increase in energy prices and all of that. Likely they're going to be going up by about 40% or more. It's going to be a substantial price increase, and it is going to complicate things a bit in terms of the radio show that I do. So we'll see what the future holds, but if you want to support it, if you want to keep it going, like I said, costs are about to go up big time in 2023. So if you do want to help it stay on the air, again, feel free to check it out, patreon.com/TheReportOfTheWeek. That's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.